Money can feel overwhelming when you're starting out, whether you're new to Canada or just new to managing your own finances. The good news? There are books. Really good, beginner-friendly books that can guide you. Today, I'll walk you through 5 of my favorite personal finance books that help kickstart my financial journey. They cover everything from budgeting and saving to dealing with debt, learning to invest, and even getting your money mindset right. By the end of this video, you'll have a reading list that can set you on the right path financially. The first book is a Canadian classic, The Wealthy Barber. Chilton covers a ton of ground here: budgeting, saving, investing, insurance, even a bit about retirement planning. At the core lesson, the one that stuck with me, is pay yourself first. 3 friends go to get financial advice from a barber named Roy. In the story, Roy urges everyone to save at least 10% of each paycheck before spending on anything else. For example, if you earn about $75,000 a year, putting 10% aside, that's $7,500, and investing it could grow to over $500,000 in 30 years thanks to compound interest. $500,000 just from making saving a habit. If you're new to finances, The Wealthy Barber is definitely a great place to start. You get fundamental advice like save before you spend, kill off high-interest debt, and mind your spending. Next up is I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Now, I know that title sounds like one of those spam emails promising you $1,000 a day, but Ramit's book is anything but scammy. Ramit's philosophy is all about automation and conscious spending. He suggests setting up automatic transfers so that right after payday, your money automatically goes where it needs to: investments, savings, bills. That way, you're not relying on willpower every month. You set it and mostly forget it. Then there's conscious spending. Instead of pinching pennies on everything, figure out the things you love spending on and be okay spending more on those, as long as you mercilessly cut costs on stuff you don't care about. It's like giving yourself permission to enjoy your money within a plan. Now, the book is US focused in parts. For example, he talks about 401ks and IRAs, which in Canada translate to RRSPs and TFSAs. But the principles are the same. In the end, I Will Teach You to Be Rich helped me set up a system to save and invest while still enjoying life. The third book is Smart Women Finish Rich. Although this book was written with women in mind, its core lessons apply to any beginner looking to take charge of their finances. One of the first lessons in Smart Women Finish Rich is values-based spending. The idea is simple. When you know your core values, you can make money decisions that honor those values. Beck even suggests creating a values ladder, essentially ranking what matters most and ensuring your financial plan reflects those priorities. For example, if security is a top value, you might focus on building an emergency fund and saving for a home. If freedom is a value, you might prioritize paying off debt or saving for travel. Next is one of the most talked about ideas from this book, which is the latte factor. It's a metaphor for small daily expenses that silently drain your bank account, often on things you don't truly care about. It could be a $5 latte, or the $10 you spend daily on takeout lunch, or a $15 subscription you forgot to cancel. Let's do the math. $5 a day equals $150 a month equals $1,800 a year. If you invest that $150 each month into a simple index fund or RRSP TFSA with an average 7% annual return, in 30 years, you'd have around $183,000. The point isn't to stop enjoying life. It's to be mindful. If you love your daily latte, keep it. If you don't even notice it anymore, that might be your latte factor. This book is great for beginners because it helps you tie your money goals to your personal values. Book number 4 is The Psychology of Money. This one's a bit different. It's not about how to budget or invest, but how we think and behave with money. This book highlights that the biggest factor in your financial success is you. Your mindset, your habits, your reactions. There's a true story in the book of a parking lot attendant who never earned a huge salary yet retired with millions simply by saving diligently and investing over decades. Compare that to some Wall Street hotshots who went broke because of overconfidence and taking crazy risks. Another powerful idea, and perhaps my favorite part of the book, is about defining enough. In a new country or a new phase of life, it's easy to get caught in the trap of always wanting more. More salary, bigger house, etc. Housel argues that knowing what enough means for you is key to staying happy and avoiding reckless decisions. I've seen people taking on massive mortgages because they felt like they had to buy a house by 30, or jumping into risky investments trying to double their money overnight. For new Canadians, this book can also validate that your background shapes how you view money. Maybe you come from a culture of saving or maybe spending. Either way, understanding those influences can help you make better choices in your new environment. Book number 5 is The Simple Path to Wealth. The core message is that building wealth doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to constantly study the market or chase the latest fad investment. Instead, live below your means, invest a difference in very simple investments, and let time do the rest. Collins emphasizes that being frugal doesn't mean being miserable or never having fun. It means being intentional. Again, the recurring theme in all these books is that cut out the expenses that don't really matter to you, avoid lifestyle inflation, and free up money to invest. He even suggests aiming high. In the book, he challenges readers to invest 50% of their income if possible. Now, that might sound extreme, but the point is to save aggressively and prioritize investing. The more you save and invest, the faster you build wealth. Collins is a huge fan of low-cost index funds, especially Vanguard's VTSAX. If you're new to investing, an index fund might sound like jargon, but it's actually the simplest way to invest. An index fund is basically a pre-made basket of hundreds of stocks that tracks the overall market. For example, the S&P 500. Instead of trying to pick winning stocks, you just buy the whole market. Even though Collins writes from a US perspective, his advice applies perfectly to Canadians. Instead of VTSAX, we have options like VFV, XEQT, or XIC, which track the Canadian or US market with minimal fees. One of the most empowering concepts in The Simple Path to Wealth is what Collins calls FU money. So FU money means having enough savings and investments that you have complete freedom over your life decisions. He describes FU money as a fund that gives you confidence to walk away from anything that doesn't align with your values. It's the money that lets you say no to a bad boss or yes to an opportunity you care about, that point where working becomes optional because your investments can support you, or at least give you a significant cushion. Imagine the peace of mind of knowing you could handle an emergency or take a sabbatical or start a business without panicking about paying rent. He even provides a rough target. When your investments can produce enough yearly income at a safe withdrawal rate, often around 4%, to cover your living expenses, you've hit financial independence. The simple path is truly simple. Spend less, invest regularly in index funds, ignore the noise, and wait. So that's it. 5 books, 5 different angles on personal finance, and hopefully a bit more clarity on how to build a strong financial foundation here in Canada. Thanks for spending this time with me. I'll see you next time.